to Ripples. Thanks for coming. Thanks for being here. Jan, are you painting? Wonderful.
Yes.
Love to have a sneak preview, but that might be too much to ask.
I'll send it to you on email and you can decide.
Yeah. Love to see it. I get excited when I see people making art. It's just fantastic, and it's, well, nothing's a coincidence, right? But the ripple is about creativity. So there you are, the first person on the screen, and you're painting, which is rather perfect. So as Miriam and I were walking to the car on Saturday night, we were having a talk about approaches to creativity, and she mentioned her third grade teacher. She mentioned that the mother of the friend that she had just visited was going out to dinner with her third grade teacher, and Charlie is her name. And we were just saying, and I said, Charlie was such a genius, fancy having a teacher like that in third grade. And Miriam readily agreed. And then we talked about Charlie's teaching philosophy, which was to allow the children, so they're 9 years old, to allow them to do creative things during the lesson, even if they had nothing to do with the lesson. And so she used to have the entire class knit. Every kid was given a ball of wool and 2 needles, and as she was teaching math or spelling or whatever, the whole class would knit. And we noticed that during the first half of that year, Miriam would come home and her retention was incredible, and she'd report what she'd learned, and she'd been knitting the whole time. And incidentally, recently my mother had a brain scan, and the doctor said to her, "What do you do in your spare time?" And she says, "I just knit all day." And he said, "Oh, well, that's the best thing you can possibly do." It was really interesting to have, that aspect on board. But then halfway through the year, the principal of the school, who was otherwise just wonderful, came into the classroom and said, "You've got to stop this. You have to stop this knitting. It's too distracting. They're probably not listening to you." And quite the opposite was true, and the knitting was ended. And the teacher, Charlie, was crestfallen, and the children really didn't enjoy the second year of school anywhere near as much. And it got me really... there was nothing we could do about it. We had our say, and it was ignored. But it reminded me of Ken Robinson, the British education specialist, who speaks about how the modern education system just irons out any kind of creativity systematically. And I thought, well, wouldn't it be great to put out a ripple that ties creativity back into learning, back into life, back into the fabric of life, where people they want to make things, they want to create things, and it's need not be to share. It doesn't have to be to share. It doesn't have to be to show. It doesn't have to be, to get, the likes on Facebook or whatever people do. It doesn't have to be to that. It's just for the deep private development of humanity. And so if you put that through an acupuncture lens, you end up with, well, I was thinking of school at that time, which requires you to think and retain. But spleen 18 and 19, so spleen 18 is called the celestial ravine, and it's on the lateral, or it's 6 soon lateral to the midline in the 4th intercostal space, which is a tiny bit higher than the nipple. And then spleen 19, which is called the chest village. because it takes a village to educate, and the feeling of everybody knitting in the classroom really had a village feel to it, a communal feeling to learning. And spleen 19 is also sixteenth from the lateral midline, but in the third intercostal space, so about 1.5 inches above the level of the nipple. And so spleen 18 and 19 have the function of gathering chi to the chest, so that inspiration can gather with every inhalation and infuse the spleen channel with inspiration. So thinking and creativity, inspiration fuse at these points. And just thought that would be kind of lovely. So thanks for being here, spleen 18 and 19, and Jan, paint away. And thanks again. Let's get to work. Actually, I'm going to sit on the floor because you can see I'm being creative too, and I don't want to take my cameras and lights down because it takes me ages to get them in the right spot, so sorry about the mess. Thanks for being here. Thanks for coming, everyone. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.